Hi everybody, this is Marilyn with MKR Creations. Please excuse my voice. I'm getting over a pretty bad cold, and that's why I haven't posted in a while. My throat's still kind of ishy and my voice is kind of ishy, so please bear with me. Today we're going to do a project that is a mini gift card box set. This was inspired by the Posh Paper Lady. It's a different take on her design, but the things we will need today, you're going to need some embellishments for your card and for your box. Some kind of a cutting tool. These I got years ago from a scrapbooking company, and I can't even remember their name right now. Or you can use an X-Acto knife and cut your own pattern to cut out the window in the box. A piece of acetate paper or sheet that is 3x3, 6x6 paper pack, a heavy piece of jet paper or printer paper. This is actually 32-pound paper. I like a stronger paper for making envelopes, and I'm just going to make one today to show you the envelope, though the card set is, I put 6 in the set. Then you will need 2 pieces of craft cardstock that are 5x6, or actually 5.5x6, excuse me. An envelope maker board, and this is from We Are Memory Keepers. Bone folder and a scoring tool, a scoreboard, a pen, I'm using my Fussy Cut scissors, and of course our art glitter glue. To start, I'm using the Old Winter 6x6 cardstock set. I just really like vintage and shabby chic. Those are just totally my styles. So I already picked out the papers I'm going to use, and I cut them in half. And you want to be careful if you have a directional print like this to make sure you cut it in half in the right direction, so that when you fold them, your card is still going the right direction. So I've already scored these at, I cut them at 3 inches, so you had 2 3-inch by 6-inch, and then I score them at 3 inches, so they become 3x3-inch cards. And I have several of those. Like I said, I put 6 in each of my boxes. These will be going to my craft fair. I've already made several to go there. So the next thing that I like to do with these is, this is pretty plain like this. I like to embellish some a bit. You can use any kind of ephemera you want, whatever works for you. You can use sentiments, different embellishments, depending on what season you're making these for. I'm making these for Christmas. So Hobby Lobby had these really, really fantastic vintage Santa tag things, and I put one of those on each of the fronts of my cards when I made them. So that is what I'm going to do here. And again, I'm going to use my art glitter glue, get all over it. A little goes a long way with art glitter glue, so it doesn't take a whole lot. And we'll just center it on our card. Hold it there for a little bit till it grabs well, and art glitter glue dries pretty fast, so it doesn't really slow you down at all on your project. So I'm going to set that aside to start drying. Next, I'm going to start on my box for my cards, and like I said, they have 5.5-inch by 6-inch. We're going to need our scoring board for this part, and our scoring tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to score, and this is on the 6-inch side. We're going to score at 1 inch. And then at 4.5 inches. And 5.5 inches. And this is not wanting to stay in the score line because of that divot there. I'm going to come out here a little ways and get it in the right score line here. This is a folding scoreboard, and sometimes right there does not like to score well. Then we're going to do 1 inch on the 2 sides here. Okay, that's our first piece. And then we're going to take our second piece and we're going to score it at 1 inch and at 4.5 inches. We're going to turn it, score it 1 inch, and turn it again and score at 1 inch. And that is all we need our scoreboard for. So now we want to go through and we want to burnish our score lines. Okay, and I like the flap that goes in to be the front of my box. I just think it makes a cleaner line for me. So I'm going to cut out my window, and I'm going to cut it in this very center here. And I'm going to center it the best I can. If you do not have a cutter or don't have a Cricut or something that you can cut this out with, you can cut yourself a 2 1/4 inch by 2 1/4 inch pattern and glue it down in the center of this, and then use your X-Acto knife to cut it out. So I'm going to get this as straight as I can, put it in the center here, and then I'm going to use my cutting tool. And sometimes I have to go around more than once to make sure it's going to pop out of there, which it popped out pretty easy this time. And the name of this company was Creative Memories. I don't know if they're still in business or not, but I went to a scrapbooking party, and that was actually my introduction to scrapbooking, was going to this party a friend had, and I just fell in love with all the things, and from there, the rest is history. Now we're going to take this other piece. Actually, what I'm going to do on this first is I'm going to make the cuts I need to cut, and then I'm going to glue my acetate down so it has time to start drying in there. So we need to cut away some things and cut some tabs. So we're going to cut away these 2 squares up here. And here I'm going to just make kind of an angle cut, because this is the flap that's going to go down into the box. And so I want it to go down in there easily. And the same on this side. Give a bit of an angle cut there. And then cut this in. And take it off. Now here, These are going to actually be the flaps that fold over on the cards. So I'm going to cut down to the first score mark there. And the same on this side. And I'm going to just make a tiny, tiny little angle cut in there. Now, if you want to use your X-Acto knife to cut this part, you certainly can, but I am not that good with an X-Acto knife. And that's why I also use this other thing to cut the window out, because I'm just not very good with an X-Acto knife, and I have a hard time getting things straight with that. And I'm going to just cut and make sure my score line is totally off of there. And then just a tiny bit of a wedge cut on this side also, so that when your box is being folded shut, it doesn't get in the way. Okay. All right, so now we take our acetate piece and we want to double check and make sure it's going to fit in there and work just in there just fine. And this is, so we're going to take and put some art glitter glue along the very edge of the acetate sheet, so that we don't want anything too close to where the window's going to show, because we don't want it to accidentally go down in there and make our acetate look yucky, for lack of a better word at this moment. Okay, so we're going to just take this, center it, and drop it in place. And then use our bone folder to kind of push out in a way so that the glue does not go in the center of our acetate. So that's that piece. And now we're going to just cut our flaps that we're going to use our tabs to put our box together. We'll cut these in. And on this little tiny part down here, the tab part, we're going to make just a tiny bit of a wedge cut again, just to make sure everything is going to go together without having any bunching or binding. Okay, I'm going to set that aside to dry, and then we're going to take the other piece here, and this is going to be our back piece, and we're going to fold this on all the score lines. Now this one, we need to get rid of this piece and this piece. And I think I'm also going to get rid of this piece and this piece, because it just makes it too bulky when I go to close it up. So we're going to use our scissors and take these pieces out. Again, I'm going to do a tiny wedge here so that there's no binding when I put things together. Okay, now this top part here, we're going to glue that down. And you want to take your bone folder and just really burnish that down. Get the glue to adhere good to everything. Then we're ready to start putting our box together. We're going to just cut off a little bit of this edge so that, again, there will be no binding between the two pieces. And when we line it up, we're going to line this score line up with this edge here. So we're going to put some glue on here. And I'll just line it up here so that they're all good and even. Okay, so these are our flaps that we're going to use to put our box together. We're going to put a little glue on here and bring the back up straight and push this together. And again, you want to use your bone folder to burnish it down good so that it gets a good hold. That's nice and straight. And now we're going to do the other side. Okay, and now we're going to put the front of our box on. So we take the glue, cover this whole side, bring our box up and down. You want to lay it flat, and again you want to burnish the inside, get everything sticking together good. Same with this side. All right, that's the box. We'll put that aside to start drying and let that dry and let our card dry. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make our envelope. And I use the We Are Memory Keepers or Memory Keepers envelope maker. And I first bought this to make the bows that I had to make for hot chocolate packets for the Christmas craft fairs. But it is great for making envelopes for your own cards that you make at home instead of buying them. I mean, if you can buy them and they fit your cards, that's great, but I like using the heavy-duty dust jet or printer paper and making my own. You have a card size here. Tells you what size card. I'm making the 3x3. Tells you what paper size you need, and for 3x3 I need 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 inch paper size. Next is the score line, and it tells you what score line to put it in to make your first punch and score. And they have nice directions on the side that tells you exactly how to do this. So our first score line is at 2 5/8, and here they're numbered out 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, 1/2, 5/8, 3/4, 7/8. So you cannot go wrong. You don't have to guess at all at where you're supposed to line that up. So we're supposed to line up at 2 5/8, and that is right there. Okay. Now when you line up though, then over here, this is your score line that you're going to score after you do this. So we're going to go to the 2 5/8, And we're going to punch. And since this is a lightweight paper, you want to be very gentle when you score. So we're going to score here. And go up as far as you can. I do not go all the way in. So then the next thing, this is your score guide here. So you're going to just turn the paper and you're just going to line up with that score guide this time around. So that makes it like super easy. So that is all you're going to do to make the rest of your envelope. The hardest parts are cutting the right size paper, cutting, you know, lining up for your first punch. And you want to punch every time you turn. And then all you do is follow the score guide. You punch and you score. It is the easiest thing. It looks intimidating. I know you look at it like, how on earth am I ever going to do that? But trust me, if I can do it, you can do it. This is like super easy and I love it. So when you got it all done like that, we've done all 4 sides. What we do next, move our papers out of the way, is we're going to fold and crease. Okay, so then I like to find what's my, you know, favorite. You can also use the top of your board here to round the top of your envelope, your corners, so that they are not sharp like that. That gives a nice professional looking finished look to your envelopes. So I'm going to put these up and like that, and then we're going to glue it down. And I just run the art glitter glue around the edges and bring it up. And that makes your nice envelope. Now if you want, you could put a piece of double-sided tape there for people to seal the envelope shut, or they can use their own fancy washi tape, whatever they like, or whatever you prefer. So then these fit very nicely into your box. We have a card, and like I said, I like to put 6 cards in here and 6 envelopes, and they fit nicely into the box. I put a variety of cards. I don't put the same card, though if you want to do that, you can. And it closes up nice and makes a very nice box. Then I will embellish the outside. I have these holly berry things, and you can put it on with regular art glitter glue, or you can use hot glue, whichever you prefer, but it makes a nice embellishment. So that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please hit that subscribe button in the bottom there and join my channel as far as seeing crafts. Hit the bell, tell it how often you want to see when my crafting videos come up, and I will see you next time. Happy crafting, everyone.